your company and tell us what the benefits of your products in terms of tiny homes may be.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, we specialize in
I'm
manufacturing.
sorry, could you
Oh,
start by introducing yourself because we're recording now?
sure. Hi, I'm Diane Taryn from Thermosteel West. We have a manufacturing plant in Virginia, but we are the main office in the Western region. So we are basically new building technology. We specialize in manufacturing custom steel structural insulated panels. So both for commercial and residential use. Our panels are basically a 4-in-1. It provides the steel framing, so the structure, the insulation, sheathing, and vapor functions, vapor barrier functions. So basically, it's an all-in-one panel to make building more efficient. Um, and the great thing about this is that it does not, you don't need any sort of certification, professional certification to build with this. We have done projects with high schoolers even for Habitats for Humanity to build homes. So basically the functions are it'll cut the um, labor time for more than half. And our technology provides a thermal break. So you will save about 70 to 80% on your heating and cooling costs. So this will provide not only a low maintenance home, but you will get a return on owning this home. So you stated that you want people to own this home. So this will be a quality home with zero to low maintenance. It is high quality, meaning fire resistant, hurricane resistant. It has a vapor barrier. So if you are by the water, our steel is galvanized, so it will resist any sort of environmental impact on there. So what we want to do for you guys is pretty much just save the labor costs and build a very high quality home for whoever's moving in. So that's what we have to offer for you guys. And we've been around for over 50 years. We have 80,000 projects all around the world. Right now, currently, we are working on projects in Hawaii. We're helping with the natural disasters out there, as well as we provide emergency shelter. So basically, this is a foolproof home. Anybody can build it if they get their hands on it. And it will cut the labor costs in half and help with energy efficiency.
Can you tell us how much it costs?
So our pricing is competitive with lumber. So we are about because we do want people to use this material more because a lot of people are sticking with lumber. So we are competitive with lumber. It is very affordable. Yeah, there shouldn't be an issue or a difference. And I know the price of lumber is going up because a majority of builders are using lumber from Canada and other countries. So it will help in that impact. This is an American-made product, so we use American-made steel and American-made EPS.
It's not prefabricated, or is it?
It is not prefabricated, so basically we provide you the pieces to build your home on site with very simple instruction.
So what is the smallest size you've built? Like, well, what is an example of a tiny home? How much does it cost? We need the specifics, please.
Can I answer that, Diane? This
Yeah,
is Harold, the contractor.
Dr. Harold, we work with Dr. Harold a lot. He knows thermosteel very well.
And when you talk about cost, the issue about cost, you're restricted to whatever your size and square footage is. And because just about every structure has some different variables about it, it is not it isn't even feasible just to give out say cost of numbers. But if you say an average of a say a 2-bedroom house, a 1-bedroom house, or a studio, your cost is going to be about 75% of what you would pay for stick building or less. The cost can be cut as much as 30 to 45%. That's with everything included. So when you come to numbers, though, it depends on. Now, I heard someone ask a question about the lot. If you're building on the hill, now you've got to worry about shear walls, and you got to put up some retainer walls, that kind of stuff, and the grading that adds to the cost of a project. So cost is always based on what you're going to build. You just can't give a flat price because I've been contracting for 49 years. I can never give you a cost right off the top until I know what we're building, where we're building it, and what all is going into it, and what type of material you're going to use. But I can tell you, based on market rates, you're going to be anywhere from 30 to 40% lower than what you have to pay for a stick build.
Absolutely. And I would like to add that this is also, the material itself is earthquake proof as well. So in seismic locations, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, international rating scale 9.0 on the Richter scale. This is Roberto Bello with Thermosteel. I'd like to only add to what my peers said, that, in addition to all the properties that support a smarter green build that everybody's looking for today, everybody's interested in green building technology. Well, here you have it right at, in one glance. You have steel construction, you have non-toxic materials, non-combustible materials at a lower price that resist pests, mold, moisture. So for any community, that's of incredible value, on top of it being of a lower cost for overall building because of labor. In addition to that, because of the wildfires that we're seeing and what happened in Maui and Los Angeles, we're all paying attention to that. So steel obviously doesn't combust. Neither does our expanded polystyrene. That's a fancy word for foam. So that's non-combustible. Unless you have a fuel that's fueling some other material in that fire, it's not going to combust or spread on its own. So that's why we say it's fire resistant. And so insurance companies are paying a lot of attention to the structural steel builds. They give us a higher rating. When I say us, manufacturers that build with steel. So I think everybody should be paying attention to that as well. What's the insurability of the materials that we're building with, especially in California nowadays? So that's all I wanted to add to the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison, go ahead if your question's related.
Yes, I was just curious, do you sell actual kits for home building, or is it just panels that someone would have to figure out how to put together?
Right. So everything is completely custom. So it's based on any specific design that you have. We will panelize that design. So it doesn't matter what size. It could be a tiny home, it could be a shed, it could be a mid-rise building. Based on the design, based on your engineer and architects, we will design up to that design spec.
And so does that include the walls and the floor and the roof and everything?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything included. This is a complete building envelope. So the roof, the floors, even the foundation. We do have panels that are foundation panels. So we can save about 40% of your concrete using our foundation panels as a concrete form. There are a lot of things that we could do with our panels.
Thank you. I see Sally and then Seth have raised their hands. Meanwhile, if you have any images about it that you could share, that'd be great. So we get a better feeling of what it is.
Yeah, it's wonderful to meet you guys. I'm just wondering, in terms of process, we just are doing introductions and we don't have either Daryl or Samir, the developer, here. And so I'm just wondering, could we come up with our agenda? I had thought that we were talking still really in the phase of envisioning the population that we're serving and who's going to buy these tiny houses, and then the percentage of units that might be for the unhoused and sort of how that would work with the neighborhood process. And like once the developer for the for-profit part of this project gets going on the model for the business model for making this possible, he can talk to you guys, he can talk to other house developers, but it seems as though we're just like in this very preliminary stage of trying to really envision what it is that we're going to try to do here and how this could work out. And so we're not like nearly in a stage where we're choosing the developer for this project or the house who's going to manufacture the house, and the developer who is going to make those decisions isn't here. And Samir, who's the guy on the board of the St. Callista's Church, hasn't come to any of our meetings yet. So, like, this being a real thing is going to really depend on those two people who play a really basic, role in this. So I'm just
Sally,
wondering if
I
we
hear
could.
you.
Mhm.
I'm sorry that Daryl thought it was in person. He's at my office now. I'm at home on Zoom. He thought it was in person. He couldn't get in. Then we have our own weird Wi-Fi at the city hall. He cannot get on the Zoom. He's trying. And meanwhile, I thought we should take advantage of the opportunity, but we'll talk about those things too. Seth, is your question related to this? Because after this topic is off, I'm going to turn the recording off.
Okay, it is. I agree with Sally though in everything that you just said, but I am interested in this building method and product. So, if there are examples of structures that the company has produced that is relatable to what we're talking about, so nothing that's 2 stories, nothing that's large,
Yeah.
something that could be on a hillside. So any examples that you could share, or a website or a YouTube video of how they're put together, um, anything that could better inform the group would be helpful.
Absolutely. I can send over a YouTube video as well as share my screen if that's okay.
Uh, I give you a few minutes and then we're going to move on other subjects. Go ahead.
Sure. Okay. I'll just share just a couple quick photos. So here's a basic tiny home that's made with our thermosteel panels. So here kind of gives you a good example of how our panels are put together, what it looks like without the exterior on. And here are some tiny homes that we built on wheels. Here's what it looks like kind of up close. So you see how they're 16 on center. It's very standard building material. The only difference is that it's made with steel and there's already insulation in there. I feel like that's pretty much kind of covers what exactly we can do, but we have done many tiny homes in the past. And I can share a YouTube video in the chat so that everybody can view that at their own time. But anything can be done with our panels. So
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Mhm.
it. I'm going to
thank you.
turn off the recording and then we continue.